Nicole Bedoya, your kettlebell coach, and welcome to day one of the Snatch Tutorial Challenge. Now, I want to start out with a little bit of housekeeping so that today you just ease into it and you get the really good foundations. And then tomorrow, during that live session or when you watch the recording, we can start to really dive in deeper. Now, the first question might be, why the kettlebell snatch to begin with? Why would one do this powerful, explosive movement? And there's a few answers there. So first of all, it is a power movement, meaning we are looking for explosiveness in our hips. And this is really like an elite form of athletic performance, because when we start training, and especially when I start training with clients, we're going to start with stability. We're going to start with, balance and stability, making sure we're utilizing our core, our diaphragm, and our breathing correctly. And that's level one. And some people are sometimes surprised that we start with that, but we got to make sure that we have that good proprioception or balance related to different changes in our environment, and then so that we can lift safely. And once we have that good body awareness and understanding, we move from our balance and stability phase into our strength phase. So we start increasing the reps and increasing the weight, or increasing the weight and lowering the reps so that we have good adaptation. We want our muscles to grow, we want more muscle mass, and we become stronger and stronger as we do so. And the pinnacle of that, the third phase, would be putting together the balance and putting together the strength where you get power. So this power is going to be changes of direction as well as speed. So you are combining your ability to balance and to utilize your muscle tension along with that strength, and that's what generates power-based or explosive-based movements. And it's a big benefit of doing the snatch, because the snatch is that movement. One of the second reasons to do the kettlebell snatch is because you show true kettlebell mastery. A prerequisite to doing a kettlebell swing is a deadlift, understanding that hip hinge, which we'll talk about. And a prerequisite to the snatch is doing a clean. And a prerequisite to the snatch is also the swing. So if we look at the top of the food chain, we have that kettlebell snatch. And underneath that, we have the foundation of your swing, your clean, your deadlift, and all the other kettlebell movements, including how that bell is going to move in your around your palm, how that bell is going to be held correctly. So you are demonstrating real kettlebell mastery and understanding of technique when you're doing the kettlebell snatch. The other thing that the kettlebell snatch is good for is a very strong posterior chain. So whether you're doing a clean, swing, or a snatch, you are using a hip-dominant hip hinge pattern. And that means that the hamstrings and the glutes are being targeted, and your core is very involved in that as well. So it is an amazing movement to build that posterior chain. Kettlebell snatches are also amazing for cardiovascular endurance. So instead of saying cardio, I like to say conditioning, because what we're really doing is making sure that that heart rate stays strong and that it can kind of calm itself down, right? So one of the ultimate forms of conditioning is going to be these kettlebell snatches, where you're not only using weight and you have some strength, but you have to control your breath during the movement as well, so that you don't get out of alignment with your body and then your heart rate goes through the roof. So we're really truly learning how to control our breath under this intense type of conditioning, and it's super beneficial. One of the last and final benefits of the kettlebell snatch is going to be your shoulder stability and strength. So we already know that in order to do a clean and a press, we need to have a nice locked out shoulder. We don't want our elbow bending. We definitely don't want to be shrugging all the way up by our ear. So being able to have a stable shoulder, especially under load, is going to be a real demonstration of healthy shoulders. And the kettlebell snatch is that, because not only are we dragging that bell up, fueled by our hip power, but once we spear and punch that bell overhead, there is this moment where our whole body is in this tight plank position and our arm is locked out overhead, and this is our moment of pure stability. And it takes strong, healthy shoulders to be able to do that. So the snatch is demonstrating all of these things: amazing explosive movement, amazing mastery of the kettlebell technique, really good shoulder stability, and cardiovascular conditioning. And that is just a couple of the reasons why the snatch is such an amazing kettlebell movement. Now let's talk a little bit about how this is going to work. work. We're going to have 3 live sessions, and those live sessions are going to be the core, the creme de la creme, okay? And we're also going to have daily email tips. Those daily email tips are going to build off of the live session. They're just going to be like little reminders for you. So live session will come first, and then everything that follows in those daily email videos is going to be a recap of that, so that you have that, you can go back to it, you can watch them over and over again, and you'll always have them as a resource. And then we'll have our next live session that will introduce a whole new product of information, and you'll have those daily email tips that come after that, all right? So we're getting started on the 14th today with this video. Tomorrow, the 15th, will be our live session, and then you'll have a couple of videos that's recapping and going over a little bit of this in detail. And I like this because I get to see you one-on-one, work with you guys, answer your questions, hear your concerns, and really kind of speak to whatever level the group comes together and is at when we're in the live sessions. But those video emails, what they're going to help do is make sure that I really do get the important information and how I want it to be said and delivered to you across, so that you have something all the time that you know is like, this is legit, okay? Now I just have 3 final points for you. And I know you guys probably know this, but I feel like it's important to go over no matter what. So the first is going to be kettlebell safety. A couple things around kettlebell safety. You always want to swing away. So whether you're testing the kettlebell swing or the kettlebell snatch, make sure you're not swinging at a mirror or a TV or, God forbid, a person, because I have seen those kettlebells slip out of people's fingers sometimes. I doubt it's going to happen to you, but just in case, it's very important that we swing away. The next thing that I want to touch on for kettlebell safety is how to safely build a movement. So you might be trying a couple of drills that I'm going to give you to clean up different movement patterns that you do in kettlebells, and I want you to always know how to approach that. So the first thing that we want to do is body weight always. It might seem silly, but forget the bell. Just get in front of a mirror, kind of feel in your body everything that you're supposed to be doing, and execute the movement. And then once you've nailed that, do it with light weight. It doesn't even have to be weight. You can grab a water bottle, a notebook, a pen, and just having something to hold on to is gonna groove this movement pattern even more, because what we're doing is we're making neuromuscular connections, okay? So the second that you do something for the first time, it's gonna feel awkward and weird. And then you're gonna come back to it and your brain's gonna learn, okay, this didn't work, so we're gonna avoid that at all costs and not do that again. And this did work, so we're definitely gonna do that again. And that way, before you even pick up a weight, you have all this good muscle memory in your brain already. And finally, you're gonna pick up a weight. So you're gonna start with light weight and then move on to something that is a more challenging weight for you. Next, I want to talk about training barefoot. I love and adore training barefoot, and it's not ick. I promise that there is science behind it. Underneath your foot pads, you actually have sensories, and they help you connect to the ground, distribute your weight, create tension, and transfer force from your lower body into your upper body. Because remember, we said the snatch is a hip dominant movement. And that means that somehow this power that we're generating in the hips has to transfer into our overhead movement that we're doing with the snatch. And that happens because the kinetic chain, it's all connected, and it starts with your feet. So when you're on the ground, I want you to think of a tripod foot where the pad of your big toe is connected to the ground, then the pad of your little toe is connected to the ground, and your heel is connected to the ground. And we'll definitely talk more about that, but we want to avoid leaning one way or the other way too much, having our heels lift or having our toes lift, because that means there's a shift in our body weight and in our balance. So feet connected to the ground is super important. It's why I have a turf in my garage gym, and it's something that you're going to learn to love and to connect with, especially when you're lifting weights or swinging some kettlebells. And last but not least, I want to talk about your breath and breathing. So it's going to be really important, the timing of our breath when we're doing cleans, swings, and snatches. And I want us to try to replicate 360 breathing. So we're inhaling through our nose and we're 360 expanding out of our bellies. And then when we exhale, we're making a T-S-S-S-T sound, like a tss, and letting all of that go. Thinking about inhaling 360 through the nose, exhaling through the mouth, engaging that core. Okay, so 360 breathing. There's a couple of really good drills that you can do with this. And so I'm just gonna show you really quick 2 of them. So the first one is you're gonna put your feet up against the wall in a 90-degree angle. And I'm gonna get my bench so that I can show you. So if this is a wall, your feet are going to go up against it and pressing into that wall. I'm just gonna demonstrate so that you guys can see. Then you're gonna lay on the ground and put your hands around your belly. Big inhale, filling up 360, and then exhale, down. Inhale out, exhale down, keeping your lower back close to that floor. So that's drill number 1, and that's just gonna help you get your breath pattern. Drill number 2, you're just gonna flip it over to all fours. And this is where you're gonna learn pelvic control. So the first thing that you're gonna do is arc that back. So you can see there's a huge dip or cave in my back and my booty is sticking up. This is called anterior pelvis tilt. Then if I go forward the same way and I tilt my pelvis forward, you can see that I have now an arc and a rounded back. So we don't want any awkwardness with that. So you're gonna exaggerate these motions and then find neutral, where everything is just aligned. From here, you're gonna do more breaths. Big inhale, and exhale down. So that is the second drill that's gonna help you learn awareness throughout your body. The goal of these, and finally your third drill, you can move to standing, because the goal of these is to connect your feet to the earth and then do the same thing you did when you were in that all fours position. Over tilt, and then boom, neutral. So this is the position you would be in if you were in a plank. But it's like if you have headlights sticking out of your pelvis and headlights sticking out of your chest, you don't want them facing down or up. You don't want them facing down or up. You want everything pointed straight ahead. So it's almost like kissing your rib cage and your pelvis slightly together, where you are making sure that everything is in a nice neutral spine alignment. And that's everything for day 1. We went over some kettlebell safety, we went over breathing techniques, and we went over why we train barefoot. And I really hope that you can join me for the live tomorrow. I would love to see your face. And if not, please catch the replay and let me know if you have any questions. Day 1 of the Snatch Challenge checked off and completed. Nice work, guys. I'll see you tomorrow.